Hej och välkommen till workshopen med sommarkodare. Och idag så ska vi prata om how to host a website. Och det är Sheng som kommer att hålla i den workshopen. Så Sheng, varsågod och presentera dig och kör igång med workshopen.
Thanks for Carolina to invite me to do a small workshop for these summer programmers, and I'm super glad to host today's workshop. I got the inquiry through Carolina that most of you are interested to talk about how to host a website, and actually this is a very common sort of steps after you're building your web page, and you're gonna finding a way to share with the people out there. And as most often you go to google.com, then it is a way that's on the other side of the server that there's handling a lot of data that allow that not just you to visit google.com, but any other people also can do so too. So today I'm gonna host somewhere around 15 minutes workshop. So first of all, I'm gonna to introduce myself. My name is Sheng Leslie Joevenller. My daytime job as a researcher working for the Swedish Institute for Forestry Research. What it is that my main job is, in Northern in Sweden, and there's a big prevalence of fungal infections, and we call it Cronotanium pinning. And this type of infections can make the woods very sick. So my job is doing a lot of scanning and hopefully finding a algorithm that's based on the machine learning methods to detect this type of infection. And then the sawmills can avoid these damages to improve their productivity. So my daily job then included quite a lot of coding and also programming, and do a lot of debugging and to check that the program was going wrong, and then testing them as well. So on the other side, I'm now also a PhD student at the Luleå Technical University. That it's together, these two jobs will take most of my time, and I'm super interested to volunteer to help the summer programmers to learn how to host a website today. So following up, and that will be included some of the bullet points I want to walk you through. And that is include what is a web hosting actually is, and why do we need that, and follow up why do we need to choose all different type of them, and how many of them are available in the market for you to choose. And compared to all different methods, why they have so many options for you to tick the box, and what is important for you. And then after these informations, and then I will go through a live demo and to give you a very simple way to show you how to host a web page, and through a method that is super popular and simple nowadays among most of developers, and that's a GitHub platform. They have a free services to use. So without further ado, we jump right in. If you have any other questions and that you don't understand, or you have just a pop-up questions, and you are welcome to type that questions on the chat box on Zoom, and then Carolina may read the questions out loud, or I can see it on the chat box and I can answer it during the section. Or if you have a longer questions, you can write it down, and after the sections that we have a dedicated Q&A sections for everyone who joined live today. And other than that, then you also can post the questions on the Discord channel, and that will be allow us to read it and reply it later. So feel free to choose whatever way works for you. So what is a web hosting actually is, and you can look at this this slide. You can see that, for example, now I'm sitting in front of Zoom talking to all of you guys, and that it is a interface, and we can assume that this interface is built on a web page So this web page is exactly as end users, and you see the contents, the text, the video, images, and also the chat boxes. So these are the contents shown on the screen actually through a very complex kind of protocol and data processing processes. So this, what you see the contents and actually go through a web server, which is sitting somewhere in the data center, for example, or you can host the web on your own server that you will sit on at your home, that will connect to the internet. But I'm talking to the most of the cases that it's host on a web server, and this server can be installed with a different kind of server size operating system. For example, very popular one, Apache. And through these web servers, and which is you can imagine as a box can save all different kind of websites. And this website sitting in a web server can hosting more than thousands of websites. So maybe not just your website being hosted over there, but include so many others as well. So they need this structure to support the contents. And if we go maybe even a little bit more further down, if your website become more complicated, it's not just showing a simple content. Maybe, for example, Amazon's that include so Amazon Music, then you have Amazon Video, you have a Kindles, and all these, so to say, applications will connect to the server, maybe on the same side or through the third party. They might not sitting in the same server in some cases. So then you need application communication side that maybe today we will not go to so many details. I just want to show you how they connect in different interfaces. So those applications have to communicate between the servers on the different protocols. And then not just that, and these applications may be, for example, Amazon Music will contain so many artists. So their songs and their playlists, they might not store in the entire application, but they store in a dedicated databases. They might use a MongoDB or Google Clouds, any other type of database services available in the market. And that is written in the server end language, for example, MySQL or Oracle, the other language are also included. So these interfaces will give you the overview how your web, the contents are placed and how they connect to the different services when they arise. So for example, maybe Carolina already showed you how to build a very simple HTML language-based web page. So that usually can be just simply host on a web server. You might not need a very sophisticated application to connect all of them. So today that I will show you that simple cases comes along. So you might ask that, well, this is an architecture way to think about it. So how to do it actually in practices? And you might also ask that what kind of web hosting services are available, which one I should choose from. So I grabbed one of these images can show you. So it's almost like an inquiry, and you can look it through the different kind of question, be able to help you to find the right type of hosting methods. This page may be a little bit too small. I'm gonna show you.
Maybe if you could send it to me afterwards, and I can also share it.
Yeah, I can share on a picture too. Here, share. Can you see a little bit bigger one? I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So
that's really
so for example, yeah, you might ask like which one I'm supposed to choose, and then you can go start from here. So let's say I want to find a job. So I want to build a personal website that includes almost like my CV. So that it's a very simple web page you can think about. So it should not be included all these services connected and connect all the APIs and etc. Set endpoint. Those are skipped the later. So then if you want to just build a personal website to show your CV and what kind of previous job you have done, what kind of skill you have, so we go to this list, and then you find that, okay, my website is maybe not involve so many e-commerces. So I jump to the next, they say, oh yes, do you want a faster website to better users' experiences? Okay, that will require quite a lot of data handling on the back ends. So maybe you choose solid state drive as a kind of hosting devices will give you a lot faster or higher bandwidth, and all these kind of parameters are also can be think about it. So this is a small kind of example show you how to choose, and this slides I can send to Carolina later, so you can zoom in and out to answer these questions, and you'll find the right one to choose. And go back there. Shit. I go back to the slide here, and can you see my slide now? Maybe keynote here.
Yeah, the keynote is showing.
Yeah. Right. So we just talk about like what all different kind of web hosting, and on when you go through, for example, I choose Miss Hosting as one type of hosting services I want to use, and they might usually give you all different kind of options to choose. And so on the left panel, you can see that these are the parameters usually they set up as provide services and then charge from the different prices. So usually we can see the speed and how to set up them, how to customization the website, and also think about the security. For example, when you want to sell t-shirt on your website, so you need to link to the payment system. So that will be good to consider embed with some security packages on the hosting services. Will protect your customers' credit card information, for example. And then on the other side, you think about how to upgrade them easily and scalability. When you sell a t-shirt from 10 pieces to 10,000 pieces, and you might have a lot of like data traffic or internet traffic on your website, then you need to scale your website to a larger bandwidth to host more customers, and that is another parameter to think about. And the difficulties, some of them are also provide like a website builders as a function towards to their services, and that will allow you to build the website actually on a web page, and you can easily just log in and change the text, the fonts, and the link images, and upload more t-shirt images to show the demo to your clients and your customers. So this is the parameters you can choose from. By the different kind of combinations of the parameters that comes of course and different kind of costs. And usually the very most been chosen one is the share one, which is a lot of services that simple and doesn't need to allocate so much dedicated services towards to those kind of services. So that comes as a very low cost. So today I will introduce you one of the most simple one, how to set up your web page on the GitHub. So because a GitHub is a platform for most of developers already know, and it's a platform for you to write code and share codes to the others and show your projects. So that's I will give you a short demo just in a short while. So now I need to direct myself.
Just to say that as well, that anyone who doesn't, like if you haven't used GitHub before, next week Kattis is coming to have a presentation about Git and how you can like upload your repositories to GitHub. If this is unknown to you, then you will learn a little bit of Git. So this will connect really well with this workshop.
Great. So yeah. So GitHub is a really popular tool, so I don't need to go further down to give you that a lot of details. So this is the GitHub's web page. If you ever go back to the main page, let's see.
I can't see your screen.
Oh,
I can only see the keynote one.
Let me go back to the Chrome. Can you see now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so this is a GitHub's main page. Probably not exactly, but let's see, because my web browser saved my cookies, so I cannot go to the first page, github.com. Yes, this is the one that, can anyone see my Chrome?
Now it's still sharing the GitHub with, like, when you're logged in.
Let me just try one more time.
It's sharing screens. It's a bit of a hassle. Now it's showing. Perfect.
Yeah, okay. This is the github.com. I'm sorry about this, because when you click the share screen, it gives you different options. So very simple. So as most of you already have an email address, is when you sign up for new services, and the email address is really important to get you ongoing. So I might not go to that, like how to sign up for GitHub, and later on, as Carolina said, that section will come up later. So you just need to simply sign up, and then the web page will guide you through step by step how to set up your GitHub account. So here, like, yeah, I'm just give you a very simple 46hours.uppsala@gmail.com, for example, like this, and then you click continue. There you have a guideline how to go there to sign up for a GitHub account. So now I go back to that page that I want to show you. Chrome here and share. So I already said
showing the github.com.
Wait a second.
It's a bit confusing with Zoom. Yeah,
can we have it?
Yeah. Perfect.
Right. So this is after you set up your accounts on GitHub, and this is usually you land up at the first page that show a dashboard view of your project, of your repository, and etc. So on this, the right corner, which is you can click on, and you go to your profile. That's the web page, and also dashboarding your kind of contributes, and for example, what kind of repository you already have. So the next step,
we can't see like your account, so I'm not sure if it's
really
if it's the wrong window you're sharing right now.
That's very strange. Let me do it one more time.
Yeah, now I can see your account.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't show on your side, but I see my my dashboard. But my apologies. So
no worries. I'll just like pop in once it's showing something different, just so you know what's showing.
Thank you for your safeguard and let me know that it's not showing the screen. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, let's continue. So when we have signed up for GitHub and you land on this first page, you can click on here, repository. So what repository means is like almost like a folder. You can save all your projects into the folder. So after you go in here, let's say I want to create a new one, and I want to have my CV or resume as a repository.
That's so strange.
How come?
I don't know. I think I'm starting to think that it's something to do with Zoom. So could you click repositories again and see if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you?
No. Yeah.
But I have done nothing. I just. Is it means let? Yeah.
Maybe
let me do like
a
this.
bit or something.
probably better now, right?
Yeah.
Because I use the full screen, so the full screen maybe not having all the content in place, but you see it now, right?
Yeah, perfect.
And I hope all the other
Sorry for
audience also see.
interrupting you all the time. Yeah. Now it's showing.
Yeah, so let's continue. So create a new repository. Maybe I haven't seen that before, so I go back to one step back. So yeah, this is the main page of a GitHub, and you click on here, repository. That shows repository is a kind of folder that can store all your projects on the GitHub. So let's pick up repository, and we're gonna create a new one. And here says all this red asterisk, so it's necessary to fill in, be able to go to the next step. Remember that. So now it's on my main folder. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna create my resume, my CV page. So it's a personal CV, let's say that, and you have to click the public, which is say anyone on the internet can see this repository. This is really important when you build a web page. You want any others and sitting on the other side of clients can see your CV. Otherwise, if the project is more secrets on your own, so then you need to click private. But now we do the public one, and you just choose create repository. There we go. So this is maybe quite familiar from the people who already gone through Carolina's workshop about HTML and CSS. So this is the page will be kind of look like. So if you want to edit any one of them, and you can do so, but if you don't go that soon, and we can go to setting, for example. So it's then you land on.
Now again. I'm sorry, Sheng. It's like it's lagging. So I think what you're doing, it's showing up much later. Do you want me to share screen and you instruct me?
I think it might. Let me just do it one more time. Yeah. I stop sharing first. Apologize, and then we share it one more time.
It's okay. What happens when you do a live workshop. It's always something like tricky that's happening, and it's like, oh my god, I just want to show this.
Yeah, now share screens. I click on Chrome and shares.
Yeah, now it's showing.
Participants can now see your application and pop up the box. Right. So where we are. So the pages. Yeah, you click on the setting and you click on pages. So you can see that's here, and you want to deploy from your branches, and where they are, you can mostly just choose a, let's say, doc or main branch. I have it. Let's see. Okay. Or maybe I want to choose a theme too, and then we'll be able to do the minimal and can select them. So this web page, you've probably already seen that's very similar to Carolina showed you before. It's the HTML and CSS. So those are the mark that you might go to see. And if you want to see the preview one, and you can click on here. You can, of course, and go back there to choose whatever you want to modify. Here set the header. So you might list out, for example, I want to do my job experiences. Also here, you might work in Excel before in Stockholm. So that's my first job. Just give you some small examples. So when you go down there, and you might need to save these changes by clicking on commit changes. There you go. You get your web page setting done. And when you go back there, here you go. So you said then your site is on live now at HTTPS, and this is my domain name. So you might confuse with like github.io, and actually it's not the same as google.com. So that comes a kind of a concept we call the domain name. So usually when you choose a web hosting, for example, you might have a GoDaddy.com. So that sometimes will include the domain name inside the package you purchase. For example, here, and it will be, say that you will have a free domain. So after the first year, you might need to pay up 129.99 crown as a part of the services fee. But most of the time that today, for example, the GitHubs will have their hosting on the GitHub's server, and at the same time, they provide you a secondary domain, which is underneath of the github.io. For example, here you have my resume as the secondary domain name, so that doesn't cost anything. So that will become your personal CV's web page. So if you click on here, visit the site, and that shows the web page I just showed you before. So that's there you go. You have your first web page being hosted by GitHub. So you can tell your friends, and hey, and now I have my CV personal web page. Please go on the jojo.com, the github.io/my-resume. That's you can visit my personal CV web page. So that's how today's workshop gonna be. So if anyone has a questions or have many questions, you can pop up on the chat box. I'm more than welcome to take it.
I actually have a question. So if I host a website on GitHub, on GitHub pages, I get that like github.io/blah blah. It's a very long URL. Could I buy only a domain somewhere? And a domain, I mean like carolina.com. And then I can connect it to the GitHub pages. So if I go on to carolina.com, it will still show what I'm hosting on GitHub pages.
Yeah, because today I registered my GitHub as a free account. So most of the free accounts, it doesn't include those dedicated services. For example, your own domain name. So for carolina.se, this domain name might not be included as a free account kind of content at GitHub. But can you see my web page now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you scroll down a little bit down towards here, you can find the custom domain. So this you can find through click on your own icons. So guys, your own profile, and then you go to my setting and just scroll down all the way to here, and you find the custom domain. So this custom domain allows you to serve your site and the domain name other than just github.io. So if you say that I want to learn more about this, and they will guide you through how to do so to customize it. So let's say we go back there, we want to have carolina.se. Maybe this is already taken by some other other people, but I'm just giving an example. So I choose carolina.se as my personal domain name, and I will save. Then most likely, and this will pop up saying that your services may be not activated because you haven't chose to use the paid services from. You see, DNA check in progress. What does it mean is DNS represent for domain name services. So that means GitHub now helping you to check that name is available or not. You might get the name like this answer a few minutes later. So if this domain name hasn't been chosen by any other people, then you can go ahead to just buy this domain name. Maybe you see, both carolina.se is alternate name are improperly configured. So that mostly likely being known that this domain name already taken by the other people. So most of the time that when you think about you want to branding yourself and you want to go out to tell that, hey, I have a really cool domain name. So most of the time already taken by someone, some people out there. So you have to think about it, how to construct the domain name is uniquely enough that some other people hasn't taken it yet. But for sure, answer your question in short, and that it's totally okay to use your own domain name on GitHub, but you have to pay beforehand for that services. But if you choose the other services other than the GitHub, and they might also help you to check that the domain name whether it's available. So you can, for example, go to here. GoDaddy is one of the really big domain name provider, and I think they also give you just a quick chat. For example, I want to have maybe other than that, Carolina, Sweden, things like that, maybe pop up available. There you go. You see, there's available for only 4 crowns for this domain name. So then you can go ahead to buy that one. Just pay for 4 crowns. Can you see any? Let me see the chat box. Is any other people would ask questions through their chats? No.
So there's also a couple of different web hotels in case you want to host your website online. So you showed GoDaddy, and then you showed.
Yeah, sorry that I maybe skipped some of the small details there, but my apology. There we go. So GoDaddy is one of the really popular web hosting services. Then we also have a Wix. What is difference compared to that one? And they offer slightly differences kind of services. For example, we scroll down here, we can see that the storage can be all the way smaller as 500 megabyte and as big as 35 gigabytes. Sorry. Then you pay, the price is also different. For example, this one we pay somewhere around €5, but then for GoDaddy it might end up in 49, I think. Sorry, not this one. Web hosting. So the package will be 43 crowns per month, and then include the 100 gigabytes storage space, and you can have up to 1 website and then no limited bandwidth. So each single one of them, they provide a slightly different kind of discrepancies of the services to be able to attract their customers. And these are 2 other the really popular one. I would mention that Wix also have a lot of templates that you can choose from. For example, you have an e-commerce website. I want to see selling more t-shirts. Then you can go ahead to choose those e-commerce version of it, and then you can customize all different widgets and showing your own design of t-shirts. And then you just need to upload the pictures and drag and drop, play around, and then you can build a website super easily. And they also offer the other payment services. And for example, the people want the customer buy a t-shirt from your website, and then they can help you to take the payment in and then transfer the money to your own bank account. Then you have a much more focus on building the website rather than dealing with all the payment services and talk to different banks to get their payment services on your website. So these are kind of differences, and each single web hosting have a different package to offer. So you might check around to see that in regarding to, let me go back. Before we talk about the different parameter to set them apart is the speed, how to set up and how to customization, security and upgrade, etc. So those are the parameters you might think about before you decide. A lot of them, the web hosting sometimes also give you the kind of 30 days try for free. Then you can just, go ahead to sign up for 30 days try to see if you like it or not, and you can choose a different one afterwards. So that's my recommendation. So you don't binding to one of the services forever. You can definitely sign up for different services when you try out and find the one that suits you the most, and you can just pay later.
There's a couple of, I have a couple of tips as well that when you were showing it, I was like, oh, what web hotels do I know? But I know a couple of them. So one.com as well.
Right, that's also really popular, one.com.
Yeah, and then I know that in Oslo, when I was working there, we used the VP engine. That's perhaps for even bigger sites if you have a customer with a web with an e-commerce site or something. But then I'm using web support right now. I'm sending all of these in the chat as well. And then I know Renee has talked a lot about DigitalOcean as well. But it's always good sharing all the tips that we have, because it's depending on what kind of site you're building, as Sheng said before.
There's another one that I used before. It's called Mest Hosting, and you can see on my browser now. And this one is quite popular in Sweden too. So for example, this basic package only costs 9 crowns per month. You can just go ahead to to spend 9 crowns to try out their services. And as it lists out here, and it includes one website and unlimited traffic, and you also can have a free encrypted website, and the free site builder, which is those widgets you can just drag and drop them, and also unlimited email address. Oh, that's I forgot to mention. Sometimes when you sign up for one of the packages, and they give you the email services too. So sometimes when you build your own t-shirt selling website, so you want your own email address. You don't want, say, hey, Carolina@outlook.com is my e-commerce, and that sounds like your private email. So you want to building your brands, and if it comes along with this, your own domain name will become like Carolina@cooltshirt.se. So that will give you a lot more credibility, and also the brands become more trustworthy in that sense. So mention again, so those packages will include the email services, and it's super simple to set up. They give you the control panel. You just go into the control panel and set up the name, and then the total capacity of the email. Each email addresses can allocate the different capacities as your desire. So that's my recommendation. You can add more, Carolina, if you have some other tips to pop up.
It feels like I'm asking the questions. Does anybody else have a question?
Yeah, let's see if the chat box has.
I think it might be a lot of questions come on Discord later as well.
Yeah. So as I said, you are more than welcome to contact me or Carolina through Discord. And if you don't have any questions now, you can pop your questions later on the Discord channel. So Carolina, you may post the channel linked later on. I think most of people already have it. So I will be around after this workshop.
On Discord?
Yeah, my screen is sharing Discord now.
What's your screen name, like nickname on Discord?
Oh, my name is Sheng, Sheng. Yeah.
Perfect.
So you can find me. I already on Discord. So yeah, as I said, you can send your questions over there, and I will check every now and then. And I hope today's workshop being helpful to you. and wish you all the best. Continue for the other workshop too, and at the end you'll become a very successful developer.
Thank you so much for sharing today, Sheng.
Yeah.
It felt like I learned a lot. So I'm gonna get the presentation from Sheng, and I'm gonna share it as well. So so you all can have access to that image, like look at what kind of web hotel server do I need, and then you have all of the tips here as well. I'm gonna post those as well. So we're getting some feedback in the chat. Thank you. Thanks for a fun workshop. So really great, Sheng. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Carolina. Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.